All right, we're here with Kirtland Central girls basketball coach Charles Kromer, whose team is going to be starting their state tournament run tomorrow night here at Bronco Arena with the number 16 Boleyn coming to town. And we thought we'd just sit down with Coach and ask him a few questions and kind of what his thoughts are going into the start of the state tournament. First of all, Coach, before we get into the state tournament here, somebody who did a lot of coaching in the area, about 7 years of coaching in the area, what's it been like to get back into it and to get back on the bench?
It was real challenge to start with because, after setting out coaching for 7 years, about the first 4 or 5 ball games, I kept asking myself, what am I doing here? And what am I supposed to be doing? But as the season progressed and got into the season and started doing my scouting and all that thing, it just kind of came back. It just in the natural process.
So it's, in a sense, it's been kind of like riding a bike. You just maybe you're out of it for a little bit, but then once you got back into the groove and a lot of those same things, do they come back to you pretty quick?
Yes, they do, and you start recognizing the things that that you need to recognize and things you need to work on and that sort of thing, and analyzation of the kids and what they can do best and where you can play them to get the best out of the kids.
And now we'll kind of look into the state tournament here. First of all, last Sunday with the selection show, were you surprised at all when the number 1 seed popped up with your team? It was kind of a race between yourselves, Moriarty, Roswell, and St. Pius. Were you surprised to see that number 1 seed?
No, I really wasn't, because for several factors. Number one is we had beaten St. Pius at St. Pius. We had beaten the number 1 Class 5A school, La Cueva. We had, and at that time, Gallup was ranked number 5, and we had beaten them. We beat Los Alamos at Los Alamos. So, the only one we hadn't played in that top echelon there was Moriarty. So I wasn't surprised. I didn't know whether we would come out number 1 seed or not, but I thought we'd been playing well enough to be considered.
Now we have Boleyn coming to town tomorrow night. That game, of course, is at 7 p.m. right here. And pits your team, the number 1 Lady Broncos, against number 16 Boleyn. You guys are 24-3. Boleyn, I believe, is 10-16. Are you worried at all about your girls overlooking Boleyn tomorrow night?
No, I don't think so, because we've emphasized. I was looking over our schedule, and I've kind of pulled back on the workouts this week because the kids are tired and sore and that sort of thing. And if you read the paper and you see the scores in the paper, you say, well, they've been winning by 25, 30 points a game. It's really not been a challenge for them. But I'm going to tell you what, in order to beat Aztec by 25 the other night, we had to play hard. Our kids had to play hard. In order to beat Shiprock here in the finals of the district tournament, our kids had to play hard. Those games were close at halftime. So, at this time of the year, and when there's no tomorrow, everybody comes loaded to play, and I think our kids realize that.
Do you think being a part of the Kirtland Central basketball tradition, and this program has 17 state championships, does that help you get your girls ready, saying there's a little bit more at stake here than just a regular season or regular team? In a sense, they're trying to carry on that tradition and carry on what Kirtland Central basketball has been about. Is that something you talk with your team at all about?
Oh, yes. We talk about that a lot, because it is a tradition, and it means a lot to the kids to carry on that tradition, And, I don't think we'd be where we are today if it wasn't for the tradition, because they want to win, and it really means something to them. They don't want to be the class that didn't do it, And so, I think that it plays a big part in our preparation and so forth.
Right, we're here with Kirtland Central girls basketball coach Charles Kromer, who is getting his team ready to play Boleyn, number 16 Boleyn, Friday night at Bronco Arena. Of course, that game at 7 p.m. Coach, as somebody who's seen a lot of basketball in this area, and you said you moved here from Texas in 1993, where does this team stack up with some of the more quality girls teams in San Juan County? You've got 3 girls who started as sophomores, 4 girls in your starting lineup who started as juniors. Where does this team stack up against some of the better teams in San Juan County over the past 10 or 15 years?
Well, it stacks up real well. Now, back in 94, 95, in that period of time, when I was in Shiprock, there was some Kirtland Central and Shiprock were the class of basketball here in the state of New Mexico, not just the Four Corners. But this basketball team would fit in with them real well because, number one is, if you'll look at our team is a very balanced team, where we don't depend on one player or two players. You know, most nights we have 3, 4 players in double figures. So, you know, I think it's compared to the other team, it's a very complete team. We're not relying on just 1 or 2 players to every night when we go out on the court.
Going into the state basketball tournament, are you going to break out any new wrinkles, or is it more of refining what you guys do and improving upon what you guys do?
It's just refining and working, and execution is the name of the game in basketball. You know, fundamentals and execution, and that's what we're working on now. Just making sure that our, you know, that we're doing the things we need to do. There's really nothing new in the game of basketball that you can bring to people. But what we're trying to do now is just refine what we have and make sure we execute it as best we can.
Right, we're here with Charles Kromer, Kirtland Central girls basketball coach. Coach, you coached at Shiprock for 4 years. You were at Bloomfield for 3 years. Career record of 555 and 300. What's it going to take for you to go into next season with a career record of 559 and 300? 4 more wins. What do you guys got to do to achieve that?
I told the girls at the start of the season that I wasn't taking them to the state tournament; they were taking me. And what it's going to take is it's going to take a real effort from them down at the state tournament. You know, we're going to run into some quality ball clubs down there, and they're just going to have to play their hearts out. You know, and hopefully if they do that, it'll be good enough.
The bulk of these girls played in the state championship game last year against Aztec, of course, down at the pit, and they played in front of 11 or 12,000 fans. How important is that experience, and how much do you expect that to play a role coming into this next week?
I think it's a big part of it. You know, you get into the state tournament with the big crowds and everything. Experience is a big factor, and you know, we play in front of some pretty big crowds here. And when we played at Shiprock the other night, it was a big crowd there. So, you know, the kids get used to being focused on what's going on out between the lines of the court and not what's up in the bleachers. But there's going to be some pressure at the state tournament. It always is, you know. You go walk down that ramp into the pit, and that's a totally different situation.
All right. Well, that concludes our interview with Charles Kromer, Kirtland Central girls basketball coach. Again, you can check out his team in action tomorrow night, Friday night, 7 p.m. at Bronco Arena. The top-seeded Lady Broncos will host number 16 Belen in the opening round, again, of the 2008 Class 4A state basketball tournament. Coach, thank you for your time.
Well, you're welcome. Appreciate y'all coming out.